Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Youth Code Jams Lessons Online. Today, we're going to be doing another Scratch activity. We're going to be doing our Ada Lovelace Flying Horse lesson. So first things first, I'm going to need you to copy and paste this link into a URL bar. And I'm going to do the same thing, so if you're not used to doing that, you can watch. So I'm going to come down here to Safari. You can also use Firefox, Chrome, or Internet Explorer. So I'm going to open up Safari and type in the link up here in my address bar. So this will be at the top of your browser, whichever one you're using, and it will say something like search or enter website name. So I'm going to type in the URL, and it's very important that you make sure the uppercase and lowercase is the same because the URL is sensitive to that. And then once you enter it, go ahead and hit your enter key on your keyboard, and then it will take you to the download page. And all you're going to do once you're here is you're going to look for this arrow that's facing down and kind of going into this box, and you're going to hit download. And it will take a second. And mine is set up so that it went to the downloads folder and opened right away. Yours may not do that, so we'll give you a second to go ahead and locate it. Most likely, if you're on a Mac, it went right here on your desktop to the download. If you are on a Windows computer, you'll have to go into your file system and go to your download folder from there. All right. So I'm going to close out of that because I won't need that anymore. I'm going to minimize this for the time being. And I recommend using Chrome or Firefox with Scratch just because they tend to be more up to date and compatible with the software. So we're going to open, I have a bunch of tabs open, so I'm going to come over here and go to a new tab and type in scratch.mit.edu, hit enter. All right, so once we're there, you'll be at this homepage. I'm signed into my account, which is why you'll see my username there. You don't need to have an account. It'll work just fine without one. So at the very top of the page, next to the name Scratch, we're going to do Create to start a new lesson. So I'm signed in. There might be a little green tutorial box on your screen. Just go ahead and close out with the little close button. It says it's a white X with the word close underneath it, so that you have full access to your workspace. This is where we'll drag and drop our blocks into to connect our code. Okay, so now that we're on our page, we're going to go pull up our the PDF we downloaded so that we can follow along with the instructions that way too. So I have mine minimized here. You might have yours up and behind the browser. That's okay. Just do whatever works for you. So I'm going to pull it up now. And you saw I made my window just a little smaller. That's to make it easier to switch back and forth between the browser and the PDF form. All right. So today's activity, like I said, is Ada Lovelace's Flying Horse. You might not know who Ada Lovelace is. She's often credited as one of the first computer scientists. So this little overview says she was an English mathematician, and she was the first person to publish an algorithm and create a computer program. So today we're going to be doing a version of one of her dreams that she wanted to do, which was creating a flying horse machine. Ours will probably not look exactly like what she imagined, but it's going to be fun and work nonetheless. All right, so step one is we need to add our sprite. So today we're going to use, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. There we go. So we're going to use the unicorn running sprite, and I'll show you on my screen. But so switch back to your browser, and we don't want the cat, so we're going to delete the cat sprite by hitting the little trash can with the X on it. And then we're going to go to the choose a sprite option and get the cat, click the cat face. And so you can find your sprite in a couple of ways. You can just scroll all the way down until you find it, which might take a while. Let's see, unicorn running. It's a U. It's going to be all the way down here. The other thing you can do is, well, I clicked it, but the other thing you can do is use the fantasy button, because a unicorn is a fantasy animal. So you can click that one and then scroll till you find it. or you can go to the search bar and type in unicorn and you'll get these 3 options. We want the one that's running because our horse is going to move around the screen. All right, so I hit back just now, but if you hadn't clicked your unicorn, you'll want to, I'll delete it and show you. So once you find the unicorn, just click on it and it will pop up on your screen. All right. All right, so we're going to move on to step 2. And step 2 is our background. So we're going to get this forest image from the background folder. So click back into your browser and we're going to go to the backdrops option. So you'll see this button over here on the very far left that says stage and then the backdrops, and you'll see it's white like ours is now. So we want to add that fun forest background. And actually for this, you can add whatever background you want. It's not going to make a difference. I'm going to stick with the activity sheet, but if you want to do a unicorn in space or a unicorn running through the hayfield or the desert or even in front of a castle, you can do that too. You can make this your own. So I'm going to click the forest background. All right, so we have our initial setup there. We have our sprite and we have our backdrop. So now we can start adding the code in step 3. So when we start our code kind of activates when there's an event. So a lot of times we'll use one that says when green flag clicked. Today we're going to use the event that says when space key pressed. So back in our browser, navigate to go to the event drawer. It's the 4th down on the left-hand side. And it's kind of a yellowy color. Well, it is a yellowy color. It's a medium yellow color and it says events underneath. Click that and it will take you to the events drawer, and we're looking for this one right here that says when space key pressed. So you're going to click and drag it into our workspace, and once you're in the workspace, release the button and it will just drop in there. I apologize for my sniffy nose. Okay, so next we have step 4. We're going to use the switch costume block. And I'll show you a little bit more. So the costumes are different looks for the sprites. So we're gonna go back into our browser and click on the purple looks drawer. It's second from the top on the left. And we're going to grab this switch costume block and attach it to our event block. And while you're doing that, if you come up to, I'll just show you, you don't need to do this, but if you come up to the top of your page, you'll see that we're in the code tab. And right next door is the costumes tab. So if you click on costumes, you'll see on the left-hand side here that the running unicorn has a bunch of different costumes. And if you notice, it kind of looks like they're running in different positions all throughout. That's how we're going to create the running effect. So be careful not to accidentally delete one if you go to look through it. All right, so you should have that block on your page now. I'm going to switch back to the code tab by just clicking on it. And let's see what step 5 says to do. Oh, sorry, I missed a step in step 4. We needed to switch that costume to unicorn running A. So back on the switch costume 2, we're going to use this drop down button right here. So right now mine is set to unicorn running -F. I'm going to hit the drop down and use unicorn running -A. So we're not going to see a change right now because we're not running our code. If you want, you can test it by just hitting your space key. And you'll see, so it switched it to that position. All right, so now we can really move on to step 5. And we're going to get a repeat until block. So this is part of our control blocks, which allow us to do something under certain conditions. So there's a couple in the block. Let's switch back to the browser. So clicking on the light orange control drawer. So all of these allow things to happen or slow them down under certain conditions. So you have some at the top that are like repeat whatever goes in this block 10 times, or if you use the forever block, whatever you put in here will repeat forever. Today we're going to use the repeat until block. So we're going to have a customized condition. And I'm putting it, sorry, it goes underneath the switch costume block. All right. So moving on to step 6, I'm back in the PDF. If you notice, I'm just switching back and forth clicking between them. You can minimize if that's easier for you to work. If you're on mobile, you might have to do the switch between windows. That's okay. Do whatever works for you. You can also print this out if you have access to a printer. And mom or dad say it's okay if that's also easier for you to follow along. All right, so on step 6, we're going to use something called an operator. And you may have used those in math. Operators are usually like your plus or your minus or multiplication sign. In computer science, you have a couple different ones too. So we're going to use, if you see in this picture, we're going to use something called the not operator. So what that does is it's going to, our loop will execute until something in here is no longer true. So this will, so whatever we put in here is going to execute until the space key is not pressed anymore. So we're going to go in and go back to our browser and click on the green operators drawer and look for the one that says not. So it's down here. This is our and or not. We're not going to worry about those today. We're just going to grab the not. And pay attention to my screen because this can get a little tricky if you haven't used Scratch before. So when we drop something, we're going to take this not operator and put it inside. So if you notice that right now that diamond after until is highlighted white, that means that it will drop where I want it to drop when I release it. If you just try and drop it like this, it's just going to sit on top of your code or the block might go underneath it. So you want to make sure that that this outline right here is highlighted white because that means that you're going to drop it inside the block like you want. All right. Okay. So the second part of this step was we needed to get the not key pressed button or the key press button. So we're going to go to sensing this time. And the sensing drawer is kind of responding to user input or what something is doing in our picture, just depending on what we're using. So we're going to use this block right here that says key space pressed. And we're going to click and drag it inside that not operator. So watch again, same thing. This needs to be highlighted white for it to drop in. And we're going to be using the space key, so we don't need to change it. If you wanted to, you could change this to any key. That you just need to make sure that if you changed it to like the letter C, that both the letter C is used in both places. But I'm going to keep it on the space key. All right, so that was step 6. Now we're going to move on to step 7. And our next step is going to be about making the unicorn kind of run around our screen. So we're going to be using the motion drawer, and we're going to be using the point towards block and the glide seconds block. And we're going to have both set to mouse pointer. All right, so back in our browser, go to the motion drawer, and we're going to use the point towards block. So it should be right here. And we're going to drag that and put it inside the repeat until loop. Okay, so does that match? Yep, point towards mouse pointer. And then we're going to go grab the glide block from this drawer. Glide is just a couple blocks above it, so you don't have to scroll. Sometimes you may have to, if you've noticed, you may have to scroll through the drawers to find what we're looking for, but this time it's probably right at the top. So we're going to grab the glide 1 second to random position, and we're going to change some things with this block. So if you notice on our sheet, the glide is not 1 second, it's a ½ second. So to change that, you're going to take your cursor and click inside the white bubble. And one click will highlight your number. So you can either hit delete or you could just go ahead and type over. I'm going to type I'm just going to type over. So I'm going to do the period and then a 5. And that's going to change the seconds. And then next we are having it follow the mouse pointer around. The mouse pointer is my little black arrow that you see on the screen. So it will be what our image follows around over here. So I'm going to change that also to mouse pointer. Okay. All right. So moving on to step 8. drag out. Okay, so we're gonna build a second block right now. So you're gonna drag out. So you can drag all of this out again like we just did before, or I'll show you a shortcut. So if you wanted to do a shortcut, seeing how this is all block that these are all blocks we've already done, you can come up to right here and have like your little hand or cursor hovering over this. And then you can use the right click option on your mouse or your trackpad. So if you do right click, you're going to see this little window pop up and you're going to hit duplicate. And you see how I have now a second one attached to mine. So we duplicated that. I'm going to drag and click so that it releases down here. And looking back at step 8, we don't need the switch costume and we don't need the purple block. So to get rid of those, I'm going to click on this top blue block, top 2 blue blocks, and drag them off back into the drawer and release. So they're just kind of, you can view it as deleting or putting it back in the drawer. And then to get to the purple block, it's going to be a 2-step process. So you can either grab from the top where the purple starts and put it here, and move it off to the side, and then grab the repeat until and put it there and reattach it to the space, and then come over and grab the switch costumes block and drag it back into the drawer. Or you can detach, you can remove the repeat until and put it down there, and then grab the switch costume and drag it off into the drawer space and reattach repeat here. If you can't get duplicate to work on your screen because you're using a mobile device or you don't have right click enabled on your computer, we're just going to go back into those drawers and drag everything out again. I'm going to delete that so that we don't get confused. So I'm going to go back to the events drawer and get the Win space key press block, and then go to the control drawer and get the repeat until and attach it there. And then I'm going to go to operators, grab another knot, make sure that that space is highlighted white, and drop the knot in there. And then finally, I'm going to get another key space press sensor and drop that inside my knot operator. So if you need to take a minute and pause the video, that's okay. You might not have been as fast as me if you're still getting used to whatever environment you're using. So you can go ahead and pause, and then when you're ready, restart the video and pick up on step 9. So on step 9, we're going to be filling in the repeat until block right here. And we're going to be changing the costume. And because the computers move so fast, we won't actually see the costume change if we don't add a wait. This time we're going to be using 0.05 seconds. So if we don't add this wait block in there, it's going to go really fast and we won't see it. And I'll demonstrate that for you. So back in our browser, go to the looks drawer, and we're going to look for next costume. So it's right underneath where our switch costume block was. So we're going to drag the next costume into our second empty repeat until block. And real quick, I'll show you. If I hit space, the horse is running, but we don't see all the different costumes as well. So I'm going to go to the control drawer and grab that first block that says wait 1 second and put it underneath the next costume. And just like we did here on the glide option, I'm going to click inside so that the 1 is highlighted, and then use the period to type 0.05 into there. And that is it, I believe. I'm double checking. Always double check your code to make sure you did all the steps. Sometimes we miss things, and because we're switching back and forth between browsers and my PDF window, it's very easy to miss things. Oh, like right here on step 5. We forgot to change the size of our sprite. So let's go do that real quick. We're on step 2. And to do that, you're just going to come back to our page. And right here above where our sprite image is, you'll see some options like the name and the position. the direction it's facing. We're going to do size, and we're changing it to 50. Okay. So that made them smaller, which gives us more room for the unicorn to run around in our space. All right, so let's continue doing that check. Even instructors make mistakes. It's okay. It's how we learn. All right, I think we got all those. Now I'm going to show you how to run the code. You're not going to be able to see much of what I'm doing, but this is going to take probably 2 hands. So with one hand, you're going to hold down your space bar, and the other one, you're going to drag your cursor around the screen. So if you were making this in mobile, this probably will be a little harder to do. I'm not sure how it will work, but if you did use it in mobile, I want you to try and join us on our Q&A session so that we can see what that would look like. Oops, I turned my horse upside down. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's the end of the lesson for today. I have a couple other things for you guys. Let me pull up my info. There we go. So that was the link we used. We have a few more activities online that are available for free. You can just download them. A parent will need to create an account, but they will not cost you anything. You just have to have an account to download them. They're available at teacherspayteachers.com. And if you just type in this whole URL, you'll be able to get to those. There's a couple Scratch ones. There's one with Kano Art. There are some offline activities that you guys can do if the supplies are in your house. So just a few options for you guys to do there while you wait. And then if you want to do our Q&A session tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, Thursday, you'll need to download Zoom so that you can participate. So all the download information is here at this website, and it's compatible. It should be compatible with your device. It's compatible with Mac and Windows, and that's the majority of devices people have or software systems people have. So you guys should be okay. Have a parent install this or an adult in the house install this. I don't want you guys to do it because sometimes installations can be tricky. And then finally, for right now, this is going to be our schedule. We're going to be posting new online lessons on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then our Q&A sessions, our help sessions, we're going to have those at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The links to these sessions will be posted on social media, on our Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and also on our webpage. It will be posted underneath the video. So I will, for right now, I'm going to be running the Q&A sessions. We might switch off eventually. But this is a learning curve for all of us. So as we figure things out and as we get feedback from you guys, we will improve this whole process and make it better and more beneficial. All right. I think that's all I have for you guys today. Oh, so if you like working in Scratch and you don't want to wait for the next lesson or you can't wait, if you come up to this top blue bar, you'll see this little tutorials button with the light bulb next to it. If you click on that, it will take you to this choose a tutorial page, and Scratch has a lot of ones that will teach you what the different blocks use and how to make, there's some games you can do. So if you click on, I'm going to click on Talking Tales. It will show you in this window, and this first one will kind of be like this, where it's a video that walks you through everything. And then but if you click through, it's got this step-by-step stuff, and it has animated images in here so that you can see what you need to click on and what blocks you want and all that stuff. So it's easy to use. You can get a lot more familiar with the Scratch platform while you wait for us to post lessons, or if you want to try and create your own kind of experiments and stuff. All right. So have a good day, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow on the virtual Q&A session. All right, bye.